Yeah, when you're feeling down and motivated in the midweek, we got the guys here to make your life complete. Little John, Brandon, Cody, Carly, they're coming in to keep you motivated all week. New episode, same time every week. Don't gotta wait long for the next one to release. So don't go away, sit down, take a seat, enjoy Midweek Motivation with John and Carly. Hey.
Midweek Motivation.
Let's go!
Man, I love that song. Good job to Gabe on that. Hey, welcome to Midweek Motivation. We packed in here like a can of sardines today. Again. Eventually, we'll have a pretty neat little setup. We're taking donations.
Pass the bucket on Sunday.
Yeah, just look for the bucket labeled Midweek Motivation. If you see Pastor coming, hide it.
We're getting ready to put our Venmo on the screen right now.
It's going to be the bucket with the hole in the bottom.
There's a hole in my bucket.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody, I was wondering if anybody was going to chime in with me there. So we are excited to be with you. We got something pretty cool in store for you today. But let's go ahead and get through a couple of things like we always do. First and foremost, thank you so much, family, for tuning in for another Midweek Motivation, where we have real conversations with real people about a very real God. We were talking with Jim before the show, and we're just like, man, we just talk. We just go wherever the conversation goes. Don't forget, like, subscribe, follow, share, download our app, check out our website. What am I forgetting?
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Why is YouTube not working?
No clue.
You broke it.
You set me in front of it and said, hey, watch this, to the guy who has no social media.
There it is. All right.
There we go.
All right. So look, let us know in the chat that you're with us. We want to be able to love on you, give you some shout outs. Maybe you got some questions, and I just want to say maybe you're going through some addiction, or maybe you're struggling to forgive yourself or forgive someone else. That's what today's show is all about. Forgiveness, addiction. We're kind of setting it up for what's coming up with our story tour. We got Jim with us today. I'll allow him to introduce himself in a minute. But listen, be on the lookout for Little John this week. Medium John hid Little John last week, and it's not easy. Do you know if anybody found Little John, Medium John? John says no.
No. So who's Big John? Pastor Ott?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
Just don't tell him that.
Yeah. What up, Big John? I don't know. I wonder how you would take that. Like, good sermon, Big John. Like,
He's okay with it as long as it's Pastor Big John.
Pastor Big John.
We're going to go and get fired.
PBJ, peanut butter jelly. PBJ. Oh man, we always do this at the beginning of the show. Listen, look for Little John. We made a deal. If you don't find him this week, we'll put him in a little bit easier spot. But those Phillips kids, man, they were finding him every week, and so we trying to give somebody else a chance. Love the Phillips kids. They've been huge. Got some new things coming, some new instrumentals coming that they have made for us. So be on the lookout. If you find Little John, take him to the cafe, mention Midweek Motivation and whatever the topic was, and they'll hook you up with something for free. If you've missed any of our episodes, you can go to our website, click that watch tab on our website, and then click Midweek Motivation. All of them that we've been able to salvage. There's been some where technology just was not our friend. You can watch them there. We've had some really good shows. Brandon, Cody, and their spouses were on a few weeks ago. It did an awesome job. I just want to say watch that one. Watch the one from the Sheriff's Department. Oh, man, the one from KCA last week.
Yeah.
Hi, man. Just go back and watch all of them. Like you would on Netflix. Just binge watch them all. You can go to parkwayroanoke.com/midweek-motivation, and that'll take you straight to it.
Yeah, last week you had me sitting back kind of like trying to keep an eye on like volumes and stuff, and I totally forgot about it because I was just watching the show from behind the camera.
Totally blanked out on us, man.
Gone.
Hey, let us know in the chat if you're here. Oh, there
we go.
Man, why was it doing that?
What a crew.
Yeah, what a crew.
Thanks, AJ.
Yep. Yeah. Yep, I'm taking that as a compliment. I don't know if that's what you meant, but I'm taking
And
that
our
as a
ever
compliment.
faithful John Brunk.
Yeah, John
Always
Brunk
on here.
Hey, John Brunk, thanks for the share and the shout out today for Midweek Motivation. Listen, one more thing, because I'm already at 5 minutes of just rambling here. Text the word motivate. It's there on your screen to 540-3838. This is a way that we can do some giveaways. We can stay in touch with you. We can send you some motivation. It was pretty cool. We use a software called Text in Church, and that's how we were able to communicate with you like that. And one of the key leaders in Text in Church, she is a part of our Motivate group. And her mom was having a kind of challenging time last week, and I was able to use our Motivate number to motivate her and to encourage her. And so that was pretty cool. So, yeah, text Motivate to 540-900-3838. And hang on to that number, because we're going to do something special at the end of the show today.
Keep those phones by you.
Yep, that you're not going to want to miss. So, all right, man, let's get started with the show today. No doubt we have the story tour coming this weekend. And if you're not familiar with what that is, man, it's just a night of hope, right? Wouldn't that what you say, Jim? Mm-hmm. It's going to be a night of hope, a night of restoration.
Off the chart.
I think it's going to be a night of breakthrough, really. And so that's why we have Jim on the show. Jim, do me a favor real quick before we really dive in and just kind of introduce yourself. Maybe tell us what you do and how God has his hand on your life.
All righty. Well, my wife and I have been part of Parkway since 1994. We officially joined in 99. It took us a while to get acclimated and get it going. We did have our kids here, and they're raised up now and in their 30s. It's good, and we call it our home church. We miss it. We love a lot of people here, and we have a lot of friends. For me personally, at the time of my life, back in the day in 93, we moved here, and I was all out of whack. I was trying to run from God, and some visitors came to knocking at my door, and they just happened to be attendees of that church, and they're still here, and I see them every week.
Oh, wow.
So it's good to know that punch happened years ago.
Yeah.
I had a little rebellious streak going on. I'll be honest, I thought I was mad at God, even though I was just confused in my spirituality, you know?
Yeah.
And so we've been here a long time, almost 30 years, and it's good. So,
well, man, it's a blessing to have you here at Parkway, but also to have you here on the show today. And so I just want to ask you, in kind of your realm of ministry, and you know, we're all called into the ministry. You know, like Cody's ministry is drums most weeks, and then other weeks he's just like, I gotta serve, man. Put me on a camera. Put me. I'll take the trash out. I don't think he ever said that, but I'm sure he would. Right?
Probably not.
You know, but Cody's main thing is drums, and Brandon has really he stepped up and he's really kind of taken a huge lead on Midweek, and then on some other things. Can we mention the new thing?
I don't see why not.
Go for it.
Yeah, so we're starting up a men's ministry, or trying to start up a men's ministry, and all you guys out there, stay tuned. In the next couple of weeks, we should be dropping our kickoff event.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away the name. I don't want to.
Yeah, oh man, it's a good one.
I can't wait to say it, but I don't want to give it away. But
Cody had just taken a breath to say, like, I'm not going to give away the name. He's like,
yeah. So we had women's ministry start off, and it really took off, and a lot of the guys were like, hey, we need something. And so a group of us got together, and we've came up with a great plan, and just be looking out for it. Should be dropping in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so like
details on that.
We all have our area of ministry, our gifting, our calling, and Brandon's is life group, Cody's is worship, among a lot of other things. And men's ministry, and then of course mine is online, young adult, technology,
you name it.
Yeah,
all technology is not what you're called to do.
No,
you're not very good at it. I'm just kidding.
I do struggle quite a bit with
it.
You
try. That's all that matters.
I do try. And then Jim, you have a unique calling over your life, and we'll kind of get into some more of that. But in your realm of you've done prison ministry, You've helped with some recovery stuff. You've written a book that we'll get into in a little bit. What is something like the story tour and the Alan Scott band and Alan Scott's story? What does something like this tour mean to someone who is recovering, or someone who's going through addiction, or someone who's hit hard times in their life, what is something, an event like this, what does it mean to someone kind of that's going through that?
First, I would say that there's always two voices, and the shoulder of Satan and God, and you are a blessed person because both people are pulling for your life. They want you. Yeah. So the voices in these people's head that saying, I can't get better, I won't survive, those are all lies.
Yeah.
And so that's where Satan kind of holds our head right underwater, and he starts right at our nose where we begin to just kind of frail around, and we're not going to make it. But Jesus is the answer. He's the only answer. And I don't know anything else to say other than that.
That's worthy of a let's go.
Let's go.
That's right. So, it just, the voices that I have in my past, if I really focus on them, I can hear them again.
Yeah.
But I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't need that. It's not productive. It's counterproductive. And I think a lot about the 23rd Psalm, that we all take different paths.
Yeah.
We all go down different paths. But to come back to the powers is really, that's it.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, those voices. I said something kind of along those lines. Yesterday, I was talking with Megan. We were on the way back from One Roanoke, which is going to be just an amazing thing for this area. Is churches uniting to be the one church that God has called us to be. But on the way back, we were talking. I used to struggle with alcoholism. I used to struggle with pills. It's not something I'm afraid to talk about. I am careful of who I talk about it with.
Yeah, sure.
But I was telling her, our mind is this supercomputer. Probably the greatest invention of all time. God said we were very good when he said everything else was good. I take that as like, yeah. So when we've overcome any sort of addiction, or we've come out of alcoholism, pills, drugs, whatever, all it takes is one taste, or one little piece, or one glance for your brain to say, oh yeah, I remember that. And then all of these files are put back in place. And so for me, that's why I won't drink a sip of alcohol anymore, because I don't want to risk that moment of that taste and those memories. Man, that used to be fun. I don't, pills, I don't even like taking Tylenol anymore, because the feel of that pill on my tongue, like I almost have to just throw the Tylenol down my throat so I don't have that memory of what it felt like when that pill was on my tongue, and then those things start coming back. So I think it's important for us to share our testimony, and the story tour that's coming in. That's why I think that we just need to invite people, like pay for their ticket. Hey, look, and I'm not gonna say lie to them, but like, don't tell them it's a recovery tour. Just be like, hey, I got you a ticket to a concert tonight. Be ready at this time, and get them in the door and trust God to really just kind of take over. And so that I guess that leads me to my next question that I want to kind of hit you with, Jim and Cody and Brandon. I know I'm kind of turning my back to you. You guys are important, so be sure to chime in, because I know I can talk. I know Jim can talk, and we want you guys to say some stuff too. So you have somebody who is struggling with addiction or recovering or whatever, and you have this event coming up. How do you approach somebody and invite them to this? What would you do? I mean, you've kind of been doing that. You've been kind of on the invite team and getting the word out. So how do you approach somebody without them taking offense? When people would talk to me about my drinking, I took offense to it. Like, I'd get mad. I don't have a problem. So how do you approach somebody and invite them, whether it's to the story tour or to church or to knowing Jesus? Like, how do you handle that?
Well, way back in my trucking days, I used to just go into a business. I'd say, how you doing today? And you get your answer in about 2 seconds. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm all right. It'll be okay. And that was my invite to write a note, give my phone number, something like that. And you'd be amazed how far that'll go over the years. And sometimes you end up with their number, just send them a text. I'm thinking about you today. Hope life gets better. I'm always here. I've done that a million times.
Yeah.
And you have to build that trust. I work with children.
That's key right there.
Right, the trust. And trust is also paramount in relationships and marriage, not love.
Yep.
So you can love people, but if you don't love them and they don't trust you, they won't follow.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, shout out if you did not watch any of the God Really Loves Us sermon series we did here at Parkway, you got to check it out, man. We hit exactly that while love is important, like we just toss that word around. Love. I love water. Not like I love my wife, but I love water, and we just toss it around. And so that trust is paramount for relationships.
let me go back early here for just a minute or two. Is that okay? And my issue started about 6 years old. I knew there was a trust issue. I didn't trust my father loved me. So I'm 62 now. So back in the 60s, my job was to get in the coal in the house and to the burner and bring it in. And my mom told me later that she caught me with the coal bucket going, he loves me not. He loves me. I'm 6 years old.
Wow.
And so that trust plummeted very early, you know. And then when I was, I'm trying to keep it together here, but, you know, that fear started early. And when I was in elementary school, I had to play by myself because I was agitated, I was frustrated, I was mean, I was scared. And I was scared something happened to my mother when I wasn't home. And when I was at home, I couldn't sleep because I was scared something happened to my mother. And that progressed into a lot of stuff. And as a child, around the age of 10, I stayed with some couples. A friend of mine in North Carolina, they had 4 kids. I stayed with them. And late that night, the father came to me and he said, I want to teach you something, son. I said, what is that? This is 52 years ago. He said to me these words, when it's not okay, it's going to be all right. And don't you worry. It'll be okay. Wow. So I always knew that. It went down in my soul. I knew that. And my mama told me that. But it wasn't all right. Wow. You see? So that created a fear, a non-trust environment. When I was 12, I was helping do the chores. And at that time, you know, there's one girl and 4 boys. And I was underneath the car working on the car. And the car fell on me and crushed me. I still got scars. And I knew then my dad tried to kill me. Wow. I said, he just tried to kill me. He didn't have any emotions, no decisions, no nothing. They took me to the hospital. I got home and I'm like, don't you care? No, I didn't understand. I couldn't fathom why a father wouldn't care. Yeah. You know, the person supposed to love and protect me was just like checked out. And then when I was 14, I went to some friend's house and stayed for a big campfire, bonfire. You know, I'm a sensitive teenager, you know, and got all these kids around and we did the fire thing. We all had our marshmallows and went to bed. This is 1974, and I went to sleep, and about 4 o'clock in the morning, I found myself being sodomized and raped by their dad. And so I introduced that situation to my family, and I was told I was a liar, a problem maker, an issue, and I was pathetic. And, you know, it just kind of like, it just keeps shoving down in there. So then the alcohol starts, and the school problems start, the non-sleeping starts, the other issues problem starts, you know, and the hate, man, just starts packing in deep. The hate just starts packing in deep. Yeah. And man, it's more than, you know, I think that was about the time I started to hate God. I'm like, God, why don't you fix this? Yeah. How come you're not fixing this? Why is this not working? Wow. But it can still work, you know what I'm saying? And it just, you know, it really hits. And,
you know, you keep saying, and you keep doing this motion of pushing it down.
I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, and so when I see you doing that, you know, I think of, you know, when you put a plant in a pot, you push it down and you pack that soul around it so that it'll begin to take root. And then the more and more you push these things down, you know, I sadly and unfortunately was also sexually abused early teens, and that was something that I truly believe led to my substance abuse, and I didn't realize it because I had pushed it down. And the things that you push down and you pack that potting soul around it, it begins to take root. And until you find out what the root is, I think about this. I had this vision the other day. You cut a tree down, but you don't take the stump out. We did this in my backyard in the property that we owned in North Carolina. Within 2 years, there were new limbs coming out of it. There was leaves. The tree was gone, but the roots were still there. And if you remove the pills, you remove the drugs, you remove the pornography, you remove whatever it is that you're addicted to, but you don't find out what the root cause is, the roots are still there, and it's going to grow back. And it'll grow back in those moments of weakness or those times where you're not pruning. Like if I would have stayed out there and I would have, each time I saw a little sprout, I would have pruned that tree, it would not have continued to take on new life. you pushed all that stuff down, and that rooted in your life. And when these things root in your life like this, you do exactly what Paul said. He says in Romans 7:15 through 17, I don't really understand myself. For I want to do what is right, but I don't do it. Instead, I do what I hate. But I know that what I am doing is wrong. And this shows that I agree that the law was good, so I'm not the one doing the wrong. It's the sin living, not just the sin in me, but it's the sin living in me that does it. And when we don't take the root, the source, when we don't take that root and we pull it out and we kill it, that's why there's rehab facilities. That's why there's detox facilities. If we don't take the root out, it will come back. And so I just want to say to you online, whatever you're facing, don't just push it down. Go ahead and deal with it head on. My sexual abuse happened when I was, I think, 12 or 13. It wasn't until I was early 20s, mid 20s, that it finally came to light. And that was when the alcohol, the porn, the pills, all those addictions that I had allowed to take root to cover this root up, that was when they were all taken away.
And those roots, I don't want to contradict what you're saying there, but those roots are still viable roots that can be used for good.
Absolutely.
Those shoots coming out, the new limbs, I while you were saying that, I imagine those were reaching for help. And if you don't, I mean, it's kind of counterintuitive. If you don't prune those limbs, you don't accept that help, the trust, whatever it may be, you are just continually cutting back all that new growth potential.
Yeah.
That you are starving for. You're needing it. You are reaching out as far as you can.
Those roots are cries for help, and our actions a lot of time when we struggle with addictions and things like that, our actions a lot of times are cries for help. We just don't know it. We don't realize it.
I come up with this right here. This is an example. This is an ear, a big ear. You hear.
I honestly was not sure what that was when you first pulled it out.
I got two of them. You hear it, and you're like, but why doesn't it work for me? Has God abandoned me? And that's because we have these. We have these big chains. That, we drag around the chains, and we have the ability to. We don't have the ability to self-heal. We have the ability to learn, listen, and love. Yeah. And we choose to just let it go down in deeper,
Yeah. One of the things that I like to remind people, having been somebody who struggled with several addictions, probably the worst ones in my life were alcohol and pills. And I did them simultaneously, which is extremely dangerous and stupid. But what I like to tell people when, they're like, man, I just don't understand how they could do that. How can you steal from your mom? How can you treat your family that way? It's not them.
That's right.
They are being controlled by a substance.
That's right.
And until that substance is removed, and not just removed and left for an empty void, but until that substance is removed and it is replaced with God's Spirit, with the Holy Spirit, with something greater, if that void is just there, eventually it's either going to be replaced with something else, or it's going to be replaced with that same thing again and 10 times worse. So if you're dealing with a loved one or a friend or a coworker who is struggling with addiction and has these roots there, you have to approach it with a whole ton of grace and understand that that's not that person. That's not your loved one there. They are being controlled by substance, but also by the enemy.
Don't forget attitude.
Yeah.
Attitude, because you have two choices. You have attitude, bitterness, control, deception, failure. Then you have accountability, belonging, commitment, and deliverance. And you have to choose. It's in your hands.
Put that on a T-shirt.
That's a big
You
T-shirt.
have to choose, man. You choose. The problem with this is if you don't make the decision, you just made the worst decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, no decision is a decision.
It's a big decision. It's a problem. It's a real problem. But it is. And then I think in our nature, human nature, we want to get better. We want to. But once you listen to the lies and you pack that down to your toes and you don't trust what you hear and you don't trust preachers, teachers, nobody. You just don't. And it's
you become a skeptic to everything.
That's right. And that's Satan's plan too. Yeah. To hold you underwater. And that's all he's got to do. But yeah, it's crazy. And then when you start figuring out that, I come up with this saying. I have recently written a book, and it's being edited at the moment. But
Yeah.
I realized God has taught me that having unforgiveness is really not an enemy. It's your new master. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. It's your new master.
For me, my biggest thing when I finally recovered, my biggest issue, I couldn't forgive myself for allowing myself to go down that path. I could not find it in myself to forgive myself. And so that unforgiveness to myself, that was my master.
That's the worst. That's what continues it on.
Yeah. And so
it's like lubricant to the issue.
It's like I'm in church, I'm doing good,
Yep.
I'm worshiping, I'm back drinking, I'm back messing around, I'm in church. And what it was is I'd be in church and I'd be given like a leadership role, and then the enemy was chirping in my ear.
Yeah.
You're not worthy of that.
Yeah.
You did this. You were here.
Right.
You were raised in church, and you did. You started drinking, and not even were you drinking, but you were leading worship on Sunday, and by Sunday night you had pills in your mouth and drinks in your hand, and he's just chirping in my ear. And it was is I never forgave myself.
Yeah.
And so that became my master. And man, I hit some of the lowest lows. There was a moment in college, and I'll never forget this. And I'm not going to go way down this rabbit hole here, because I want you to talk just a little bit about your book, because we're getting close to time.
Okay.
There was a moment in college where I wanted to commit suicide. Mm-hmm. I had the whole plan laid out. A lot of people don't know that. If my family's watching right now, I'm sorry you're hearing it this way. But there was a moment in college where I had reached the lowest of all lows, and I wanted to quit on life. I already knew exactly what I was going to do, and I was going to do it that night.
Check out.
And my friend Kat Cahoon, she calls me, and she says, "Hey, I really need to talk to you. Can you come outside the dorm real quick?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I go out, and she says, "I got to pray for you." I don't know why. Mm-hmm. I gotta pray for you. I feel like there's something you're holding on to that I don't know. I just need to pray for you. And she puts her hands on my shoulders, and she's like in my face, and she just begins praying. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't got a clue what she prayed. But in that moment, all of those suicidal thoughts were gone. Now, did I still struggle?
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
But what I started doing is as I chiseled away at this root. Each time I would chisel a root, and there was that kind of trench where I dug the root up, I put more of God in that part.
Yeah.
And I packed God in there.
Right.
And so over years and years and years, I eventually became recovered and healed, and I forgave myself. And so, Jim, you're writing a book.
You'd ever notice that when some old bridges are built like this, that's for strength.
Yeah. Wow.
So when you pack down, it won't give in.
I like
that's
that.
what that's in. And then the other thing is that I want to hit a point here. I want to explain in two ways. It takes 9 seconds to completely be forgiven. I'm going to teach you how. On the air.
Teach us.
God forgave me. I forgive you. We're forgiven. That's 9 seconds.
Wow.
But we hang on to this trash and drag it around for years and years and years. Here's the startling statistic. And please check me if I'm wrong. Somebody tell me. Approximately we have 8 billion people on our planet. 8 billion people on the planet. 65% of these people have forgiveness, and about 80% of the 65 is toward family in some way, fashion, or form.
Wow.
That is scary. Whether it's an ex-wife, a dad, a cousin, a mother, a sister, an in-law. It's traumatic that we do this. And so we can't choose this 9-second action because Satan wants to keep us underwater because it's all packed down, and we start letting it back up. And then we get scared and intimidated. We're going to have to change what we're thinking, what we're doing, our process, and we're going to have to give up. And it's difficult to do, Yeah. But the voices won't stop. There's fear, the denial, the desire to control and make that person be hurt too. And it's terrible.
Yeah. Man, this has been great. I mean, I want to talk about so much more.
I don't know, but I'm not huge on social media, but the hearts have been just like,
man, that's great.
Flying like crazy the whole time y'all were talking.
Somebody needs to hear this.
For the first time, I think, on the show, I was speechless. I didn't know what.
Well, I don't know if the camera
That's
can see
good
this
stuff.
before we run out, but this is not this important. This is a sheet I wrote. This is my original paper from 85, and I was trying to find myself. And what it says is, if God is there, where is he at for me? Why did he leave me, and what am I going to do about it? And when I was 37, I had to find myself. I started doing prison ministry, and they expected me to do this sheet to find me so I could help them. 37, I'm 62.
Wow.
So that's 25 years, I guess, or something like that. So it's real, man. The struggle is real.
It is.
And I want to hit these two classes real quick too. In addition to the story tour, this is a book I wrote I was 36 years old. I went through that book, and when I grow up, I want to be an adult. This is the second one we just did here at the church, and that's Growing Beyond Life's Hurts. And these are awesome books. They're tools. And while I was taking this course, my wife informed me that if I was going to act like my dad, I could go live with him, and I lost my job.
Wow.
In the middle of the heat.
Wow.
But you know what? We win, brother.
Yes. The victory is
We win.
ours.
You got to give up. See, the meat of today is you don't have to let this go. You get to let this go. To use both of your wings. You can flop around one wing the rest of your life, or you can lift them both, and the party's over. You choose.
that.
You choose, man.
Yeah.
You choose.
Man, this has been great. Hey, Jim is he's got a book out right now. Well, not out, but it's in publishing and editing, and it's on forgiveness. And we'll let him share. We'll probably get him on here another time and let him share some more about that. We're basically out of time, but I want to do something really special. We told you guys earlier to have your phones ready. I talked with Megan last night. I was sitting out here at the church for worship practice, and it just hit me like we need to give away some tickets to the story tour.
Yeah, baby, free.
Yeah. So I called Megan. I was like, "Hey, do we got any free tickets?" And honestly, she was like, "Nope, but we can make it work." So we are going to give away two tickets. And so we tested this before. I'm about to say before service, before we came on the show, and it worked. We'll see if it works now. What I want you to do, and listen, if you have already bought tickets, you can still call in. Mm-hmm. I want you to call in. Not yet. Give me just a moment. Let me get this out. The number is on the bottom of your screen, 540-900-3838. If you have already bought tickets, try calling in still, because maybe if you're the one that we choose, God's going to put somebody in your path that needs it. Mm-hmm. So let's just trust God on this. All right? Call in right now. We're going to patch you in live to the show. We haven't done this in a while. We're going to patch you in live to the show. Unfortunately, if you're watching later, you should have watched live. I'm sorry. And if nobody calls into the show, then we'll figure something out, and we'll give a ticket out another way. Call in right now, 540-900-3838. Go ahead, call.
You have got somebody in your life that needs to be here this Saturday.
Right.
Yeah. It's going to be life-changing.
It's all getting lined up the way it needs to be right now.
Yep. So give us a call. We're going to patch you into the show, and we're gonna talk to you just briefly. We only have about 10 minutes, so come on, call. The phone is not ringing. What is your problem? Why are you not calling? We're on a 2-minute delay.
We are on a 2-minute delay.
I was like, man, why? The phone's
2 minutes from now, it's going to be blowing up.
Giving away free stuff. Why are you not calling? Yeah. So in 2 minutes, we'll have a phone call, maybe a minute and a half. So 540-900-3838. Give us a call. I'm just going to kind of answer at random. So keep calling. We'll answer. I'm not going to say we're going to answer the first two. The first one that comes in, I probably will answer.
I'll sweeten the deal. If you find me there, I'll buy you a coffee.
Ooh. Look at that, man.
Do we have a minute?
Yeah, we got a minute. Exactly, probably.
I wanted to share one thing that really impacted my life many years ago, over 20 years ago. I was in a detention home, and I was sitting with a father that was having a lot of problems with his son. He's like 13 or 14. And he said, my boy don't understand. One day he needs to be a man. And I said, well, what are you doing right or wrong at home that want to make a difference? And this is what this man said to his son. You're too stupid to kill yourself. And I saw myself there. I was like, wow, this is awful. So I needed to help, step in, put both feet in all the way 100%.
Yeah.
And people tell me now I'm going to help work with kids and prisoners when I retire. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Life's going to take you and get you busy. My main thing is today, don't put it off. Do it today.
Yes.
You don't have to. You get to let this monster go out of your life.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah, let it go today.
Let it go.
Listen, don't wait till the concert. Don't wait till the story.
Do it right
tour.
now.
You can do it right now.
We'll come and meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, do it right now.
Absolutely.
You sitting at McDonald's, you sitting at Chipotle,
right.
you're sitting at work, man, just go ahead and pray right now and just, God, take it away. God, empty me in a way that only you can feel me. Mm-hmm. And just do it right now. There is no need in you waiting. You don't have to be in a church service. Hey, we got a call.
We just passed that.
We got a call coming through. Give me just one moment. We're going to patch you in right now. Hello, who we got on the phone?
Pam Harold.
Say that again.
Pam Harold.
Pam Harold. Pam,
Welcome to the show.
Yeah,
Pam,
welcome to Midweek Motivation. Man, thank you so much for calling in. Let me just ask you this. I'm gonna kind of put you on the spot here. What does something like the story tour mean to you or to your family member? What will this ticket do for you?
Honestly, I've already bought 3 tickets.
Let's go.
Amen.
And I wanted to just call in and say, you know, if you give me a ticket, I'll find someone. I'm trusting in faith for a family member.
Yeah.
But, you know, I grew up in the same kind of, you know, alcohol and drug abuse, and 3 brothers who they're free now. But I do have a family member that's really struggling.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go by faith that I'm supposed to have another ticket. But I'm coming anyway, either way.
Well, we love
I've already
that.
bought 3 tickets.
That is awesome. Well, you got a 4th ticket now,
There you
so
go.
get
That's
to
right.
work, find somebody, give it to somebody. I need you to do me a huge favor so we can make sure that we get this to you. The same number you called right now, 540-900-3838. Text me your information. Email will probably do. Email and just identify yourself. Say, hey, I am Pam. You said Pam Harold.
Yes, Pam Harold.
Just let us know. Send us a text message real quick, and if you're able to, and if you're not able to, then we'll give you a call back. But let's connect. Let's make sure that we get this ticket in your hand, and find somebody. I believe that God lined this up for you. All right.
I do too. And thank you guys for your testimony. That's powerful.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pam, for calling in. Remember to text us and let us know. And you have a blessed day. Thank you for tuning in to Midweek Motivation.
You too. Thank you.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.
All right. The line is back open. Come on, give us a call. We got...
Where's my family at?
Man, that is awesome. I love that we're able to do that. Hopefully a call will come in here in a moment.
Let's don't pack down. Let's unpack. Let's unpack. Let's unpack this trash.
Yeah, I like that. Unpack the trash.
That's right. There we
Take it
go.
out.
Shirt.
Yeah.
Put that on a
Put
t-shirt
that on a T-shirt.
Put that on a t-shirt.
and wear
Put it
it
around
this
your shoes.
Saturday.
Unpack the trash.
We got one more ticket to give away.
All right, let's go.
Hey, while we're waiting, Jim, until a call comes in, you want to share just a little bit about your book?
Yeah,
on forgiveness?
Sure. I don't know what happened, and it's a weird situation. But anyway, my birthday's in November, and on the 21st of November at 9:45, I just got quiet. I was just by myself. It was quiet. I turned everything off but one light, and I was just laying there. And all of a sudden, man, it just flooded in. This really happened. It just like, woof, there it is. He said, I didn't teach you all this for it to go void. You have grandkids, and you need to make sure there's something to stand on later.
Yeah.
When I'm gone, that's positive. And, it just hit me. I ran downstairs and told my wife, I said, give me a piece of paper, quick. I want to write down what happened. And the Lord taught me to call it Divine Hope Design. And that means the divine, and the hope is home, others, priorities, and expectation. What are you doing and what are you expecting? And the design is the way God gave us a standard to live. Yeah. Simple as that. It's got 10 chapters. The first chapter is My Pain Matters.
Wow.
My Pain Matters. And then the denial trail, all of it's in there. And I just want it to be a blessing to at least one person before I leave this world.
Wow. Yeah. So that'll, be out in the next year, maybe?
Less than that. I hope it'll be less than 60 days.
Awesome.
I hope so.
We're looking forward to that. And who knows, maybe we might get a copy and give it away on one of the shows coming up.
A copy? How about 100?
All right. So
Hit that let's go button.
right. Here we go. Sean's on with us too. Let's go. That's good stuff. We're gonna wait just another moment or two, see if anybody calls in, and then we'll wrap the show up.
Unpack. That's
Yeah.
the new word.
Yeah. Come on now. We're giving away a free ticket to the story tour.
I'm gonna call.
Yeah. I'm gonna call.
Call yourself.
Hey, we got Megan sitting right off to the side. I'm going to ask her a question. Megan, how many tickets did she say we had?
As of yesterday, I believe it was 470 or
Wow.
480.
Wow. Wow, about
Praise
480 people are going to experience life change, whether it's their life that has changed.
How about we kick it
or
up a
somebody
notch?
else's.
Somebody calls and give a ticket. I'll give them $10 to get them a drink of coffee too.
Whew, man, y'all better call.
Something
You can't get a pizza with that anymore.
something cool just happened on the Facebook chat.
Uh-oh.
Kimberly Billings just
Let's
said, if
go.
someone needs a ticket and can't afford it, I'll sponsor that.
Wow, there
Let's
you go.
go. Thank you,
There you go.
Kimberly.
There you
Hey,
go.
man, we killing the Let's Go button today.
Call in here, Kimberly. We'll get you a free one.
Yeah,
That's right.
Kimberly.
You're hooked up now.
Yeah. You
We'll bring it to you.
Listen,
we'll let you give it away to somebody.
Kimberly, if nobody calls in the next 2 minutes, because you're going to hear this in 2 minutes, the extra ticket is yours. We got you covered. Somebody call. Come on. Takeaways from the show today. Get rid of it now. Take the trash out.
Unpack it. You know, people spend millions of dollars a year keeping trash in a building they'll never see again because there's emotion. Not being disrespectful, but, you know, that's what we do. We hang on and hang on and hang on to stuff. I'm guilty. Guilty.
Hey, I want to share this. Kim just texted in and said, "Thank you for your testimony. Often we feel alone." And Kim, that is so true. And thank you for texting in. And listen, I want you guys to understand that this number is not just a Wednesday number.
No, all the time.
Text, call. Right now, if you call it and it rings all the way through, I think you get my personal voicemail. Leave me a voicemail. I promise you, we will get back up with you. Just say, "Hey, I'm just calling. I need some motivation.
There you go.
Need you to help me out here." And we want to do that. We want to motivate you.
Right. God is not limited by your inability to understand His grace for you either. It's not.
Yeah.
You just got to open up your heart, man. It'll come.
Yeah.
If you find your passion, you'll find your purpose. That's another thing.
Yep.
You know?
All right. So our show is legitimately going to end in a minute and a half.
All right.
Thank you, Pam Harold, for texting as well and for calling in. Listen, the ticket is yours, Kimberly Billings. We'll connect with you so that you can bless somebody. We got 1 minute left. I just want to pray a very quick prayer, and then we'll end our time together. God, I just thank you, Lord, for forgiveness, for your love, for your healing, and for the opportunity and the ability to be able to do this show and bring hope and healing and motivation to people, God. I just thank you, Lord. I can't thank you enough for what we're able to do. And just help us this week. And God, I just pray, Lord, that there will truly be breakthrough and life change at the Story Tour this weekend. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Listen, this has been Midweek Motivation. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us.
Thank you, Jim.
Yes,
Oh,
Jim.
no, man. We're going from victim to victor this week.
Yes.
Unpack it and refill it with God, right?
Yeah,
Put
let's
the bridge
go.
over it.
Love it.
This has been Midweek Motivation, real conversations with real people about a real God.